It's Monday the 15th of March, so it's 10 days away from what will be the 6-month mark since having the operation. I'm in the process of dropping some body fat, but not quite at the same stage I was at when I had the operation. So it's going to be a little bit longer after that point when we can really see the exact comparison. I need to get obviously the same level of body fat so we can see exactly what's happened in that time. There's been some significant changes. Obviously at first it was a little bit tighter. There's been a little bit of things that have changed in that time, which, to be honest, I'm happy and unhappy about. So I'll show you some of those now and just kind of catch you up on where we're up to. So, like I say, 5.5 months in, we've got, so my stomach has come down quite a lot. I'm a little bit watery today anyway, because it's later in the day, but this is the issue. Obviously you can see the scar is actually looking way worse because it's looking quite stretched. Now I don't know if that is due to the activity I do, because there's a lot of movements I do that put that under stress. So maybe we think, was it a little bit too tight? And then has that then put that whole area under stress as I've gone back to all my normal movements in my job and training and everything else, and that's maybe stretched the scar over time. I don't know. But it looks a little bit more messy than most people's. But I also never put any cream in it or anything else, because to be honest, the scar doesn't bother me that much. The skin bothers me. You can see the scar is quite big at the front, and then the sides, if I drop these trunks now as well, you can see that has come as a consequence of having the skin cut and pulled, and then this is sort of loose. Apparently that's very common though, it's very common. So I need to obviously get that then cut again, but that does mean I'm probably gonna have to go back onto the operating table to get that fixed. I don't know how they do that, I've not looked into it yet. But then this is just something for you guys to know, that just needs a little, that is actually just a little cut. When I said originally, oh yeah, it's just a little bit of skin cut, and then they went up and over. I was thinking it was actually like that, this, a little bit of skin cut. So this will be just a little bit of skin cut. And like I said, because the pressure was then in the front, and all the stitches were here so it didn't rupture, this, when do you ever do that, apart from when I'm warming up in the class going, let's go. I do feel pretty good, feel good. There's no pain, there's no restriction in movement, and then it's still a little bit numb. Well, no, that's a lie. It's still completely numb. But there's nothing I can really do about that. I don't know if it'll come back. It gets these odd sensations sometimes, and then that's about it. Welcome back. So it's been 6 months, and I've dieted down a little bit the last couple of months to try and get to the same level of body fat that I was when I had the operation. So things look a little bit different than they did on my last progress video. But I'm trying to obviously get a fair comparison so I can see 6 months on where it's meant to be, because they said inflammation is going to take about 6 months to leave. But there's been a bit of a complication with this skin on the sides. It's got looser. So at the 12-month point, I've got to go back to Turkey and get that fixed. It's a bit shit, so I'll show you that shortly. And then I'm going to go through my supplements that I used to recover from the operation, because a lot of people have been asking about that. I'm going to put that into the video and just keep that as at today. Physique update and then my supplements. Nothing complicated. But what I'm going to do is turn the camera to the side and then put both videos next to each other as I'm doing the poses going through. So you can obviously see side by side what's happened in the 6 months since we've had it done. Let's go.
So the video I'm going to go through today is talking about the supplements I've taken after my operation to help supercharge my recovery process. Because as we've seen, the recovery I had was quite quick, especially compared to those who I've talked to who've had the operation previously, and they were like, how are you back in the gym so fast? Well, these supplements are a big part of that. Can I say exactly how much each supplement did in terms of recovery? We don't know, because I'm not going to obviously go back and do it again without them. You can't do a controlled study. So a lot of it's speculative, but we do know what a lot of these supplements do. Many of them have multiple functions in our body, and a lot of them are supplements I take year round anyway, because I feel that they are very beneficial for general health, and a lot of people don't have very good general health, which is why their recovery is so slow in the first place. So I'm going to kind of go through the basic sort of heavy hitters, I would call them, in terms of what I feel would help the most, and why. And not that it's not the only reason that you take these supplements. A lot of them, like I said, have multiple reasons that we take them depending on our goal and our usage at the time. And then there's some other stuff that I would have as secondary, and then some last bits which I know will be beneficial, but not all of them I used. So this is today's video. Let's get it going. So first one is vitamin C, which that's not actually a vitamin C packet, that's a vitamin B6 packet. But this, I got it in a powder, so it's very, very cheap as a powder, it's vitamin C. So what I did when I went over was take all these powders, you see some of them there on the camera, and I put them in a tub like that. And then each day I used to mix out a certain amount and have it as a drink, and then obviously some of them are still capsules and tablets, so I used to take those each day on the night time and then in the morning as well, and sometimes throughout the day depending which supplements they were, because I took some of them additionally just to try and help that recovery process. So like I said, vitamin C we know has massive health benefits. It's one of the main antioxidants in our body, and we've caused a load of stress to our body and trauma that we're trying to heal from. So this is actually, if it was vitamin C, the vitamin C is actually has a big role to play in that. One of the things they actually gave me was some capsules. One of the main ingredients was vitamin C, but the dosage they gave was very, very low, which is why we have the powder. So I was taking 2 grams 4 times a day. But vitamin C is water soluble, so you need to be taking it multiple times a day realistically to have those benefits, because obviously you're trying to do this massive rate of recovery all day, every day. So like I said, they gave me some capsules that had like 60 milligrams. I'm taking 2,000 milligrams 4 times a day. So huge difference. And this is what I said, like the supplements I took, some people might take some of, like you might take multivitamin, but it will be very low in its dosages. So getting a high quality supplement and having high dosages of it, because you've got a real demand at that point. Your body's fucked, let's be realistic. It's struggling. It's a major operation you're going to go through. And this also applies to anything else. If you're like having any other kind of surgeries, any other kind of recovery, it's always this supplement regime will help you. Vitamin C, first one. And bear in mind, guys, if you're worried about taking supplements through customs, it's never been a problem for me. I literally have a bag in itself with all my supplements in every time I travel everywhere. I've been to a lot of different countries, so never been an issue. Don't worry about that. Next one was N-acetylcysteine. So N-acetylcysteine helps just cleanse your liver and clear toxins. And combined with glycine, which is just an amino acid, helps create glutathione, which I also have in the supplement. So this is basically an antioxidant concoction. When we've caused any kind of stress and damage to our body, there's a lot of, we'll just say shit we need to clear. So especially with the vitamin C and these things together, it's going to help you clear that toxic junk from your body that you're trying to get out. And most people, bear in mind, have not got the healthiest body to start with, so they would help year round. But at that moment in time, after the operation, help even more. I'm going to list all these below in the comments section, by the way, so don't worry if you're trying to keep up and make notes. These are not supplements that would have any sort of negative side effects if you were to take a lot of them. So they're just good to have in for general health. And this is what I try and push to people. Like they'll say, do you need all these supplements? No, I'm not going to die without them, but they're so cheap. It just helps your body function at its best. And most people don't function anywhere near their best. It's the next one, liposomal glutathione. This is a capsule. I normally get it in liquid from Supplement Needs. Supplement Needs make this. Glutathione as a capsule most of the time is not very well absorbed. It's actually better given injectable, as are most vitamins and minerals, because it goes straight in. The bioavailability is then very high. Orals, you're always going to have to go through the digestive process, it's going to break down, and you're never going to get 100% absorption rate. So the bioavailability is never going to be 100%. Injectable, it is. That's why we have the IV in when we're having our operation, and it's why they smack everything into your veins, because it's 100% and it goes straight in and starts working straight away. You don't want to have to take a painkiller orally when the pain's through the roof. You want the pain managed straight away, which I'll also get into in a second, the painkillers. Multivitamin, obviously it's going to cover a lot of different bases. We don't need to say what a multivitamin is. However, if you're going to go to like Tesco and get multivitamins, you'll see that a lot of them have 100% of the RDAs. So the recommended daily allowances are based on how much you need to not be deficient. So we've seen things like rickets and scurvy that we've probably learned about in school. They've been long gone because people are not deficient in things like vitamin C. However, just because you're not deficient does not mean you've got enough for optimal health. And at that stage, you're already in a state of compromised health. So your demand not only goes to where you normally would be, which most people are deficient in a lot of things, it now is skyrocketed to so much higher. And this is why I've got high quality multivitamin, which normally I'd take one, I was taking 3 while I was there. So this is the supplement needs. I'm going to plug some company like this because, like I say, supplement needs a company you can trust. If you look at the back of this and you know what you're looking at in terms of supplements, you'll see that each ingredient they've took is the higher quality form of that ingredient. They preach a high quality supplement over a highly profitable supplement. So a multivitamin, just to cover a lot of other bases and keep your body functioning. This is what we're trying to do, trying to get optimal health. This is the most important time for you to be at optimal health, because otherwise you're going to be sat on your ass on the sofa feeling miserable, unable to move for weeks. Whereas instead, you could be back in the gym and functioning a normal life and just getting on with things, and just a little bit of discomfort. And it's literally the difference between that. So this is why I'm doing this video and taking it so seriously. The next one, Support Max Joint. So Strom Sports make a few different Support Maxes. We have Support Max Neuro, which is here, which I'll get to in a second. We have Support Max Joint. Support Max Joint has a lot of ingredients that help reduce inflammation. A lot of joint pain is caused by inflammation. So where does that come into play here? Well, when you get out of the operation, this is inflamed to shit. It's swollen, it's sore, there's edema everywhere. This, I feel, obviously we can't prove, but I feel is one of the main things that help bring that inflammation down. First thing I did was get off the plane in Manchester, drive the car straight to Stockport to my friend's supplement shop and got this, and started having it in double what would be the normal dosage, because obviously everything is going to be exaggerated at that moment in time. So instead of taking 4 capsules a day, I was taking 8, because I'm trying to bring the inflammation down fast. Well, even things like the corset that they gave me to put on, I had the one that was supposed to be changed to the 2-week point was changed at the 6-day point, because I'd got back and I was taking stuff like this. And I was moving a lot, I was drinking a lot of water, and I was focused on these supplements. So everything was ahead of schedule. And I would say it's not a coincidence, it's because of all these things that I was mindful of. So Support Max Joint. Like I say, it doesn't just help your joints. The main ingredient in here that I would say was beneficial was hydrocurc. So curcumin comes from cumin. Cumin is a main ingredient in curry powders, and we know it has a lot of anti-inflammatory benefits. But cumin itself only really helps your gut, so very good if you've got digestive issues, helps your gut because it's low quality. The more concentrated forms, called curcumin, or even more so the patented hydrocurc, these are concentrated forms of that same ingredient, and they will help really attack the inflammation. And at that point, we're trying to clear toxins, we're trying to repair tissue, and we're trying to clear inflammation. So we're attacking it from lots of different angles, and this is why my recovery was so much faster. That's one of the main supplements. Next, magnesium. So magnesium is one of the biggest deficiencies I see as a coach. We see it on blood tests all the time, and we see lots of problems that come from that. I could make a separate video on its own, I have done many before, but for today, it's just literally the fact that most people are deficient. It has many functions in the body. You need to take magnesium, especially at that moment in time, because things like stress deplete magnesium. You're pretty stressed out when you've had your stomach sliced open and your whole midsection stretched down. There's a lot of stress in different ways, mentally and physically. You'll need more magnesium. Put it in, and then keep it in year round. that's something you should always supplement with, in my opinion. Next one, vitamin D. Another big deficiency I see as a coach, especially in the UK. Pretty much everyone is vitamin D deficient. You will need even more in winter than you will in summer. You reduce it maybe back in summer if you're outside a lot, but it doesn't necessarily mean you'll be high. We can test it on a blood test and you'll see that a lot of health benefits come from having a high vitamin D level, and a lot of health problems come from having a low one. One is vitamin D. So vitamin D, again, is a massive deficiency I see as a coach, and it's something that's involved in so many different bodily processes, but the main thing is that the next one is vitamin D. Vitamin D, again, is another big deficiency I see as a coach. We see it on blood tests because it's quite easy to measure. Most people are deficient and they have a lot of health problems as a result of that. That could again be a separate video on its own, which I have done before, which I'm not going to go into right now. Just keep vitamin D in year round, not just for this. Increase dosage for this and make sure you're at the top of what would be a healthy range, but definitely put it in year round and keep it in. You will notice a big difference in the way your body and your mind function from having vitamin D at the right levels. I sound like I'm on repeat. Zinc is another big deficiency I see as a coach. Genuinely is. Those three are the biggest deficiencies we see. All right. An additional one, Support Max Neuro. You will notice a big difference in your mental state if you put Support Max Neuro by Strong in your supplement regime. I've had this in for about 2 years since it came out. The only time I stopped was for a month, and I did notice a difference in how I felt mentally. So guys, leave it in, trust me. That is not going to massively help with the surgery recovery, but when you're a little bit fucked up mentally and freaking out, which I actually genuinely was, I was in a bit of a bad way, it helped calm me down. You've just had a massive traumatic experience. You wake up going able-bodied 1 minute to I cannot even stand up. It can really get to you mentally. That actually really does help calm you down. So that's actually on a serious note. It's not going to help the recovery of the injury too much, but it's going to help you not lose your mind in the process. And when you're sat in your house and you can't really fucking move, that's not very nice. Or in a hospital bed, you can't really move. And guys, catheter in, all this sort of stuff. You want to stay calm. Just double, triple dose that, honestly. And it'll help you sleep as well, by the way. Moving on to drugs. Right. So moving on to drugs, the fun bit at the end. If you go to somewhere like Turkey, take something like tramadol or codeine with you, because otherwise it makes the whole experience so much more painful than it needs to be. And I was then taking 4,000 milligrams of paracetamol a day because they were telling me to take 1,000 milligrams per go, and I was then having to take it multiple times per day to try and manage the pain. I came home on the Wednesday night, had 2 tramadol, pain went. And then Thursday morning, 1 tramadol, Thursday night, 1 tramadol, Friday morning, 1, gone. But by that point, my stomach was actually back on track, because when you're taking 1,000 milligrams of paracetamol 4 times a day, that's going to really mess your stomach up. Another thing they don't give you in somewhere like Turkey is anything to help you go to the toilet. You know, and there's full transparency, we need to talk about stuff. So my dad just had a knee operation. He's been given codeine as well as paracetamol. He's been given something to soften his stools, we can go to the toilet, all this sort of stuff that you weren't given. If you just had a tummy tuck and you've got to try and push, it fucking really hurts. So that's the last thing you want to do. So get these things and you're going to have to take them with you, because it's very unlikely you're going to get them. So you're better to have them and not need them. Maybe they'll give them you anyway, than need them and not have them, honestly. Take proper painkillers. Like I said, my stomach felt so much better as soon as I stopped taking so much of paracetamol and got this instead. Other drugs. Okay, so I didn't actually take these. I take these right now. 2 peptides. Can we even get them on? We have BPC 157 and TB 500. So these are peptides that are healing peptides. I've started taking them currently because I have quite a few joint issues in my knee, just from battering it, from training for years, teaching classes, multiple spin classes a week and all this sort of stuff. Just general wear and tear. My knees currently feel the best they've felt in about 5 years. So we know they work. They work on helping you repair tissue and reduce inflammation. What's the 2 things you're trying to do when you've had a tummy tuck? You're trying to repair tissue and reduce inflammation. So these can be massively beneficial. How much will they actually help? We don't know. There's no way to test that. But as I say, I didn't actually take these two at the time. I'd take them now for my joints, and I've seen a huge benefit in how my body feels and functions. But they are still very, very useful, and I would say put them in. If you can get access to them, definitely put them in. So the last one is growth hormone. I was taking this in a moderate dosage of 1 IU in the morning, 1 IU at night. It's nothing spectacular. You could actually run it higher than that. You could run it more times a day than that, just to really supercharge the whole process of what you're doing with all these supplements and the diet as well. Diet I'll do in another video, just generally what I was eating, just because obviously this one's getting quite long now. If you can get access to growth hormone, I would definitely say put it in, because it's something that in that low of dosage is not going to really do much else than help this heal, but we're trying to do everything we can to help it heal, so it's helping the whole thing work synergistically together. And as I say, guys, I was going to share with you everything that I was taking, and that was one of the things I was taking. Again, we can't quantify how much difference it made. It might not have made any difference at all, but it was just making sure things were functioning as well as they could. And I should have really got these two as well, because that would have definitely helped, but I didn't have access to them at the time, so I couldn't. So I had all this stuff and just tried to plough everything I could at the whole process. Obviously, it's trying to heal as much as I could and as fast as possible, because I need to be back on my feet, I need to be back in work, and I had a lot of obligations that need me to be back to normal as quick as possible. So I know a lot of you guys are the same, not just because of a desire to get back to normal, but also because you generally have some commitments that require you to be back on your feet. And obviously some of you guys are actually trying to keep this whole operation quiet. You don't want to tell everyone, you don't want to broadcast it to the world. I've been open to help everyone here as much as possible, and you wouldn't believe how many people have actually contacted me with questions and fears over getting it done. And that's why I was like, okay, I'm going abroad. We know there's a stigma about getting surgery abroad, so let's document it, see what it goes like. If it goes shit, at least people know, then it's a warning. If it goes really well, then that's also something that's good, and then people can see what it's like and they can get over their fear and get this operation done, because it's literally going to change people's lives. You know, some of this stuff, it is destroying someone's life mentally, because they can't live the life they should, because, you know, they maybe lost all this weight, they've worked their ass off, and they simply cannot fix that skin. And that was the situation I was in. It wasn't ruining my life, it wasn't to that stage, but it was definitely affecting me in a lot of ways. And I've even noticed it now, even like my t-shirt rides up in the gym, I forget the fact my stomach is actually flat now, and I still have that body conscious self inside. And I know a lot of you guys are the same, some of you guys have been way worse. So that's why I say I wanted to share all this stuff with you to help as many people as possible go through the same thing that I have with confidence and a little bit of help. Like I say, you can always reach out to me. A lot of people do, and a lot of people have done. There's one of the guys that actually just had his done a couple of days ago, so it was really good to kind of see how he's getting on and just give him some guidance coming out the other side of it. And I'm more than happy to do that with any of you guys. So please reach out if you're thinking about getting this operation done, you're about to get this operation done, anything, I'm always here to help. So speak to you soon, guys. Take care.